Hello, this is your host Margaret. Here with me is Mr. Osan. Can you briefly introduce yourself to us?
Okay, I'm the executive board member of Marmara Group Foundation in Istanbul. So we are here to the speech of our, to bring the greetings of our foundation to this event. We are happy to be here.
What do you think about this event?
Actually, bringing love and peace to the world, all of our aim to being human, to bring that conscience to ourselves is really important to the leaders we have. So this event will affect people in that sense. We are happy to be a participant of this event.
This is a great event with all the great speakers. They have very influential speeches, and there are a lot of cultural performances as well. As so far I observe, I love this event so far. What do you think is going to be the next agenda of the event?
Actually, the influence of it's really important because it reminds us to be a human again. So we should do more of these events. Such cultural events much more value to it. So we are really happy to see and watch that cultural events and such influential people talking here.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I call on my honorable president to speak, address you. Let me say Maori, and means abundant life, full of health, joy and happiness to you all. Now one of the great leaders of our country and the Pacific. Why? Because he is very much in line with the philosophy that you've been working for, love and peace. And of course, Kiribati is very much part of that. The story of Kiribati and the legend and all that, it's all about love and peace. And therefore, I would now like, and I will have the great pleasure of calling our President, President Dennis Mahmoud, to take the floor. Mr. President.
Well, thank you, Madam MC, and thank you, Ambassador, for those very kind and hospitable words. I'll try and live up to those very high expectations. When the Word of God, when the voice of God lives, the voice of conscience awakens and shines all day around, with peace and love flourishing endurably. President of the Federation of World Peace and Love, Dr. Hang Dawson, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. In Kiribati, we begin all events by conferring blessings, and I wish to begin my statement by sharing with you all the Kiribati blessings of peace. And while COVID-19 expressed the fallibility of our economic, social, and political systems, I believe our consciences are still as strong as ever to promote a culture that is built on peace, love, and happiness. Ladies and gentlemen, while we are proud to learn that the promotion of International Day of Conscience is gaining momentum around the world, let us also ponder on how can we create and inspire a sustainable world built on conscience. Responses and resilient measures to moderate the impacts such events have inflicted or continue to inflict on people around the world. While predefined response plans are important, it is also during such times that we are reminded of the importance of changing our behaviors and mindsets so that we do not overreact, but look ahead with compassion and enthusiasm, and with an understanding of everyone's differences and situations. These partnerships should be built upon shared principles, values, visions, and goals that place people and peace at the center of policy and decision-making. A peaceful planet requires members of our United Nations family to build on moral foundations that include respect, a deep understanding, and love for one another. The world needs to transform decisions and policy with compassion and conscience in order to realize and achieve our UN SDGs in a sustainable and resilient manner.
亲爱的基里巴斯总统阁下、西斗大使、各位贵宾、各位好朋友、各位女士、各位先生，大家好！欢迎各位莅临2022年爱与和平世界领袖高峰会。在联合国大会期间，在座各位领袖不仅是在这里对话交流，致力提供追求国际和平与安全的建言，更用一颗虔诚的心为世界、为世人祝祷。21世纪的现今，全球危机四伏的紧要关头，我们都不曾放弃希望，并努力不懈，因为我们的使命，因为我们对世人的爱，因为我们明白，良心行动是团结与永续发展转型的关键，所以我们继续坚持。更感谢各位良心伙伴与我们同行，引导了良心行动，相互信任和团结互助，是人类迈向永续生存发展的重要基础。我们正与时间赛跑。
Xi Xi.
Xi Xi.
I want to first thank Dr. Huang for saying yes in the heart. And I can see so many of my brothers and sisters here who are active and working for peace. And I want to recognize the many diplomats and representatives of nations who come to honor this highest of human values, love. There are two words that every human being has that are extremely important: no and yes. We can say no to animosity and yes to friendship. We can say no to selfishness and yes to generosity. We can say no to injustice and prejudice and yes to equality and justice. We can say no to apathy and yes to love. If we give away these two words to forgetfulness, we will not reach our humanity. And if we give away the conscience, we will not be able to use these two words. Because it is the conscience that gives us the capacity to distinguish between that to which we should say no and that to which we should say yes. Now, the nations of the world are institutions of law. They're not human beings. They may be run by human beings, but like corporations, they're created by law. And by virtue of that, they don't have conscience. By virtue of the way in which they're created, they don't have conscience. They operate purely in their self-interest. And thus we have a dilemma in today's world. Because the issues that humanity faces at this moment in time cannot be met selfishly. No selfish nation, no matter how powerful, can protect the climate. No nation, no matter how powerful, can protect the oceans from which 50 to 70% of our oxygen comes. No nation alone can address a pandemic because the viruses are so smart they figured out they don't need passports. And so we're in a situation in which the institutions we've created are operating without saying yes and no appropriately. So we need some new thinking. Like Albert Einstein said, the breaking, splitting of the atom changed everything but our thinking, and so we drift toward catastrophe. We have the technical solutions to protect the climate. We have the technical solutions to address pandemics and protect the oceans, but we don't have the thinking correctly. The most important thing in thinking is determining what's true. So let's start out with the truth. The truth is we are one human family. That's the truth. That's really important. So we need to first and foremost have human security. Human security says the purpose of every state is to protect its citizens. And states can't protect their citizens unless they put human security first so that we can protect the climate, deal with pandemics, and not ever again continue the profligacy and madness of militarism. Don't tell me your values, show me your budget. Since 2000, when FOPAL was created, the world has spent over $32 trillion in pursuing security through weaponry. My country alone has now pledged over $1.7 trillion to modernize the nuclear arsenal. And the more we perfect this, the less security we get. This is not the kind of thinking that conscience leads. So there's a task before us. We cannot be apathetic. There's a task before us. We cannot be selfish. There's a task before us that an awakened conscience says very simply, it's time to move from the love of power to the power of love. We don't need to be ashamed to say we love each other, and we love all of humanity without distinction of nation, race, religion. Everyone was created by the same mystery. Every human being breathes the same air. Every war invokes love. Love of religion, love of race, love of country, love of me. We need to flip the love of me to the love of we. That's the change. And that power to do that, there's only one power that can move from love of self to selfless love, and that is love itself. And so we're gathered today to support one another in this endeavor. We're gathered today to come together and say we are committed to that to which we must say yes. And Dr. Hong at some point had a calling to ring the bell of the heart and go around the world and say, come together and say yes. We can do the same in our own way. And it's time the nations of the world treated other nations as they want to be treated. That's how peace is made. And every time a nation treats another nation in a selfish way, discord happens. The balance of yin and yang goes off. And every time nations treat others as they want to be treated, strength and harmony comes about. World War I, crushing reparations on the Germans. What did we get? The chaos of Nazism. World War II, the Marshall Plan, rebuilding the countries that were vanquished, rebuilding Japan and Germany. What did we get? Democracies, trading partners, and friends. In one instance, we pursued revenge, and selfishness. In the other instance, we pursued wisdom. Wisdom works. This is the first time in human history in which the spiritual insight of the unity of the human family has become a practical necessity. It is a practical necessity, or the great small island nations could actually disappear. They could go underwater. What arrogance that we should continue to do this. And I, from a country that burns so much fossil fuel, say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for my countrymen and for what the nations of the North have done to the small island states. I'm sorry for the testing of nuclear weapons in the islands in the Pacific. I'm sorry that we forgot that we are one human family. But it's time to move forward. So I say, yes to love, yes to conscience, yes to human security. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be here with you. And please allow me first to thank Dr. Ho that you have created this amazing occasion, and the president of Kiribati, and my brother, Mr. Tito, the ambassador of Kiribati. We love you. But today, and yesterday, and every day, I have attended many things. I've sat there with all the heads of states that are speaking, and I listened to them, their grievances, their problems, and so on. I sat there with the honor and privilege with the women leaders that were of the women prime ministers, presidents. This is the first time in history that we have so many women in government. And I sat there in spite of the pain, but finally the world is also taking into consideration the agony and the suffering that happens when people kill each other. Nobody talks about the victims. We're only talking about how many this and how many that and what sells. But you talk about numbers. You don't know that every victim, being it a man or a woman, have a family. Have a father and a mother and a child and a sister and a husband and a wife. Nobody talks about them. Nobody talks about the effect that wars have done over the years on us human beings. We don't talk about that. Guess what? Finally, the UN has now a resolution on that. And it just so happened a couple of days ago. So we're catching up. The main thing and the most important thing is the COVID that has shook the world. It shook all of us. What did we do? If you, in your life, someone told you that there is something is going to make the world stop still, guess what? It happened. We all stayed home. We all got locked in. You walk down the street in Manhattan with the 10 million people, not one person walking, not one. No traffic. No, nothing. Not even a dog. The world stopped. China, France, Italy, everywhere you count. Small country, large countries, millions of people, small little people, everyone affected the same. We were afraid. Fear took us, and we did not know what we will do next. What can we do? We were under the mercy of God. We all prayed. Guess what? We all remembered there is a higher power, and we prayed. You never, ever, ever listen to your conscience. Your conscience is never wrong, by the way. But we kill it. We manipulate it. We make excuses. So we don't listen. You know when you do something wrong. It's in our system, in our DNA. You know that. You know when you hurt someone. You know you hurt them. You make excuses. Because guess what? You go throw it in the ocean. It does not work. If you hurt someone, that's because you have whatever your reasons, as bad as it is. Follow your conscience. You will not go wrong. Follow it. And do not kill it. This is my solution for the world. It's really not a magic thing. It's your conscience. As simple as this world, and this word is in this world, use it. Whoever is your creator that you believe in, God, whoever it is that you believe in, it's in you. You cannot get away from it. No way. You just have to listen. You have to listen. I would like now to introduce my husband. We've been married many years, and he has been working with the United Nations for 40 years, 40. Under 6 Secretary Generals. He's had different offices and worked with Kofi Annan together. And also, he was and still is for the peacekeeping operation for the military training. And we've lived in many countries, and we have witnessed the suffering of many countries and many people in countries. And that makes you even sadder when you see all of this, and we can help them. Just don't make excuses, just you yourself. No matter what you do, get up and do it.
We must consider the plight of women in their domestic chores, career responsibilities, and family well-being, and be a part of their peaceful existence. We must understand the social media influence, the peer negative relationships, and environmental pressure on youth, children, and young adults in opening the gates to conflict and peaceless society. In the light of these and others, we need to rebuild, revitalize our conscience, and reimagine a peaceful world. Let us plant peace in our conscience and nurture it adequately for our sustainable and the future we want. We have had a lot of speech about peace since last week up to now, and we will continue to talk about peace since the UN declared September 21 as the International Day of Peace. But what is most important to us is for us to rebuild our conscience, revitalize our inner being, and be able to reimagine a peaceful world in our own conscience.
I bring you the greetings of the Marmara Group Foundation from Istanbul. I would like to start my speech by thanking the Folpal family and its president, His Excellency Momta Tauze, who brought us together today on the occasion of the beginning of a new era of the United Nations. We, the Marmara Group Foundation from Turkey, are a think tank working in the field of peace with our civil society identity. Knowing that the road to peace is through love and dialogue, we continue our work without showing any bias in religion, language, or race. We believe that our differences are our wealth. With this in mind, we prioritize dialogue, love, and conscientious values in our work to put an end to the wars and conflicts we are living through. Our work coincides with the work of the Falpal family. That is why we are here with you today. The Eurasian Economic Summits, which have been held by our Marmara Group Foundation for 25 years, are an internationally recognized event as a platform for peace and love. The Falpal family was also present at the 25th Eurasian Economic Summit we held this year, and they performed the bell ringing ceremony, a doorway to peace. We asked His Excellency Hong Tao-se to turn it into a tradition and perform the bell ringing ceremony at the Eurasian Economic Summit that takes place every year. Because if we can unite our forces and raise our voices together, we will pave the way to peace through love, tolerance, and conscience more quickly. Taking today as an opportunity, I invite your high delegation to the 26th Eurasian Economic Summit, which we will organize on 13, 14, and 15 March 2023. Coming to the 26th Eurasian Economic Summit and performing the bell ringing ceremony together will allow our voices to be heard stronger and from farther away. I'm calling out to the Falpal family from here. His Excellency Hong Tao-se, from now on, you are our brother of peace and love. From now on, if you accept, the bell ringing ceremony will be the door to peace as the symbol of the Eurasian Economic Summits. With these feelings, we greet your high delegation and invite you all to the 26th Eurasian Economic Summit, which will take place on 13, 14, and 15 March 2023 in Istanbul. Thank you.
Share this energy with the world.